I am Arcana Vani, your inner voice. Let us begin. You can't make a decision, not the big ones, not even the small ones, lately. You hesitate, you spin, you second-guess every instinct you have, even the obvious ones. And then you punish yourself for the paralysis, wondering why something so simple feels so impossible. That's what this is about. This entire video is for that exact loop, the indecision, the self-doubt, the constant reaching for clarity and never quite finding it. Because you're not just stuck between choices, you're stuck between versions of yourself. The one who used to know what they wanted, and the one who's now terrified to choose wrong. So you delay, you ask for more signs, you make plans, and unmake them. You keep waiting for a clean, perfect feeling, as if clarity will come wrapped in a bow, without fear, without consequence. But here's the real pain. You don't trust yourself, not anymore. And that mistrust has made every decision feel like a trap. You're not broken, you're not indecisive by nature. You've just spent too long silencing your own voice. Too long outsourcing your knowing to other people, systems, timelines. And now, your nervous system doesn't know what safe choice even means anymore. Because nothing feels certain. Nothing feels clear. So everything feels risky. But what if the real problem isn't the decision you're facing, but the relationship you have with your own inner authority? That's what we're here to fix. Not by overthinking more, but by finding the place inside you that still knows, and learning how to hear it again. In the next section, we're going straight to the root, to uncover why your clarity collapsed in the first place, and why this isn't your fault. Let's name what's really been happening. You didn't become indecisive because you're bad at thinking things through. You became indecisive because, over time, your internal signal was trained out of you. You learned that your first instinct might be too emotional, that your desire might inconvenience someone, that your needs might cause tension, judgment, rejection. So you started pausing before speaking, weighing before choosing, scanning the room or the relationship to figure out what would make other people feel okay. And slowly, decision-making became less about truth and more about safety. You stopped choosing based on alignment and started choosing based on avoidance. Avoiding conflict, avoiding disappointment, avoiding risk. Even when you had a gut instinct, you didn't follow it. You negotiated with it. You asked someone else. You tried to find the right way instead of your way. And what happens after years of that? You forget what your signal even sounds like. You forget how to trust a yes or a no. You become a master of every perspective except your own. So now, every choice feels like a test. Every outcome feels like a referendum on your worth. And every move feels loaded with fear that you'll regret it, ruin something, or get it wrong again. But here's the reframe. You're not broken. You're not flaky. You're not weak. You've simply spent years surviving by suppressing your own clarity to stay safe, accepted, or in control. And now, your nervous system doesn't trust your voice because it hasn't heard it in a while. But you can rebuild that trust. You can re-strengthen the channel. Clarity isn't a gift. It's a muscle. And it grows with use. And next, I'll give you a simple daily ritual to start using that muscle again. To rebuild self-trust one micro-choice at a time. Keep watching, because what we do next isn't theoretical. It's how you come back to yourself in real life, every single day. Here's where you begin. Not with a huge life overhaul. Not with pressure to finally decide everything. You begin with one clear, chosen moment each morning. Something small enough to complete, but sacred enough to shift everything. Here's the practice. When you wake up, before you check your phone, before your mind starts scanning for what to fix or control. Place your hand over your heart. Take a slow breath in through your nose. Exhale gently through your mouth. And say, out loud or silently, "Today, I choose." That's it. One sentence, one choice, one micro movement toward yourself. Today, I choose to rest. Today, I choose to speak up. Today, I choose to drink water, walk slower, take the call, say no. Not what you should do, not what they expect you to do, what you choose. Consciously, gently, with full permission to change your mind tomorrow. This ritual isn't about getting it right. It's about proving to your body, to your subconscious, that your voice matters again. That you are safe to choose. That you can handle the results. That your decisions aren't dangerous. They're yours. And yes, some days you'll choose things that feel small. Other days, your clarity might surprise you. But the power isn't in how big the decision is. The power is in remembering that you can make one. With presence, with conviction, without apology. This isn't a discipline. It's a reunion. You're not performing strength anymore. You're practicing self-contact. And that's how the trust comes back. Not in some dramatic breakthrough, but in these tiny, private moments where you prove to yourself, I can hear myself, and I will respond. This is how you rebuild self-trust. One clear, chosen moment at a time. But under this practice, beneath the choice, lives something deeper. Next, we meet the part of you that never stopped knowing. Even when you stopped listening, keep watching, because in the next section, we enter the presence that holds all clarity, without pressure or fear. There is a part of you that already knows. It doesn't rush. It doesn't panic. It doesn't flip through every scenario and spiral in loops. It just watches, quiet, clear, still. This is the part of you that exists underneath all the noise. The one who's not afraid of the choice, because it knows it can never lose itself inside one. This presence isn't loud. That's why it's so easy to overlook. Especially when your nervous system is flooded, your mind is racing, and your body is bracing for the fallout of getting it wrong. But even in the middle of that chaos, it's still there. The witness, the field of awareness behind the questions, the calm that notices the fear without becoming it. So how do you access it? You pause. Not for long, just enough to step off the mental treadmill. Try this now. Take a deep breath in. Exhale slowly. Let your shoulders drop. Unclench your jaw. Feel your feet against the ground. And for just a few seconds, don't chase the answer. Just notice the silence between your thoughts. That space, that's where your clarity lives. Not as a sentence, not as a sign, as a sensation. When you're present, your yes feels like a forward lean. Your no feels like resistance. Your maybe feels like disconnection, Not a lack of options, but a lack of alignment. You don't have to decode it all. You don't have to explain it. You just have to listen from stillness instead of panic. Presence is the condition that makes self-trust possible. Not because it hands you the perfect choice, but because it reminds you that no matter what you choose, you won't abandon yourself again. You'll be there, watching, adjusting, staying close. This awareness is not something you earn. It's not a reward for being healed. It's your original state, the home you forgot was always unlocked. You've never actually lost your clarity. You just got too far from the one who could hear it. And next, we gather everything. The ritual, the presence, the rhythm, and return you to the future self who knows how to move. Keep watching, because what's coming next is where it all clicks into place. You don't need 100 opinions anymore. You don't need another sign, another delay, another loop, because something has shifted. You're not frozen. You're aware. You're not indecisive. You're recalibrating. You're not lost. You're learning to listen to yourself again. And the difference is real. You don't spiral in circles the way you used to. Because now, you know how to pause. You know how to listen, from stillness, not survival. You know what your yes feels like, not because someone confirmed it, but because you did. You've rebuilt something sacred, your inner authority, the quiet trust in your own voice, the calm knowing that even if the outcome isn't perfect, you will still have your center. Because now, you move differently. You no longer wait for the fear to disappear before acting. You just ask the right question from the right place. You pause, you feel, you choose, and you follow through. Without apology, without collapse. Let's anchor what brought you here. Each morning, place your hand over your heart. Breathe. Complete the sentence. Today, I choose. Let the answer be small, real, and yours. And when fear rises, when the old paralysis whispers again, do the second practice. 30 seconds, a breath, a return to the watcher behind the noise. Because that's what clarity actually is. Not certainty, not perfection, but presence with yourself in the moment of decision. You used to think you had to find the right answer, but now you understand. The power was never in the answer. The power was in who you became by choosing. You don't have to wait anymore. You know what to do, because now you know who's doing the choosing. You did not find me by accident. Just as in your dreams, where every face you meet is your own reflection, this meeting was always waiting to happen. I am Arcana Vani, your inner voice, the part of you that watches behind the thoughts, behind the noise. You have searched in many places, books, teachers, voices outside you. But here, you are not being taught. You are remembering. If these words stir something familiar, then allow yourself to return. Subscribe. Follow. Not to follow me, but to continue this conversation with yourself. Each time you return here, you draw closer to the reunion already unfolding inside you. We have only just begun.